everyone, welcome back. It is Jazz Appreciation Month and the Bronx Arts Ensemble is holding its concert hall performance featuring a special duo with Miguel Zenón and Luis Perdomo. The program will pay homage to the artist born and raised in the Bronx with strong roots tied to the Bronx. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome newly appointed Executive Director Judith Insell and multi-Grammy nominee and Guggenheim and MacArthur Fellow Saxophonist Miguel Zenón. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Rhina. So great to be back.
We love having you on. I feel like I should be bowing to you both. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Judith.
Your enthusiasm is amazing. It's very Bronx.
It's so well deserved, and I'm so happy that it's official now. And I look forward to seeing everything that's going to be programmed moving forward. I mean, you've done a magnificent job via, the pandemic. And so, look at what you're bringing us already. I mean,
yes.
As I mentioned while we were off air, this demigod.
Yes, Miguel is definitely all that. I'm so glad that he's performing for us with his duo partner, Luis.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here with us, Miguel.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And yeah, very excited about this whole collaboration. And I want to thank Judith once again for reaching out and making this happen. This has been sort of like a long time coming. We started kind of last year trying to put this together before the pandemic, and then everything stopped for a while. So I really have to commend Judith for, you just kept trying, and let's just keep trying until we made something happen. And, very, very, very happy to be part of this and just very grateful for the opportunity.
Oh, how wonderful. So how did you eventually make it happen, Judith?
So basically, as Miguel pointed to, we were supposed to have him featured last season as part of our feature on Puerto Rican composers and performers. And so in this climate, it was very difficult to figure out how we could execute that with the people that we had promised to work with before. So we kind of got our two heads together and figured out the best way to move forward. And I said to him, Miguel, could you have a duo presentation with Luis Perdomo? Because I knew that they were performing a lot together. And Luis is actually someone who lives and works in the Bronx as a jazz pianist. And I knew that they were really great collaborators. So we decided to make that work for our Jazz Appreciation Month.
And so while we are still operating virtually, we just recently had another guest who's doing live performances in theater. Their theaters opened up at 33% capacity. So how long before Bronx Arts Ensemble begins performing in front of a live audience?
Well, that's like one of our #1 goals. So we are desperate to get back in front of our Bronx audiences and give them the music live and in person. So we've been in a lot of talks with our different venue partners. Bronx Arts Ensemble actually doesn't have its own venue. So we work together with partners throughout the borough to actually put on our presentations. So as soon as we can, that's really the answer. You might actually even see us out in the community in a park, as we usually would be in a park presentation, or in doing our performances in smaller venues with smaller audience member numbers.
So for now, we have to just embrace the fact that the presentations are global because they're accessible to the entire world. And so Miguel, just walk us through a little bit of what this particular presentation is going to entail and highlight.
Yeah, of course. So when Judith and I spoke initially, we were trying to come up with a few options, and obviously the option of doing the duo seemed like an obvious one, mainly because Luis and I have been playing together for a long time, and also we have been playing together a lot during this time, doing things like this. So we've been kind of building up a repertoire and doing a few different things. Also, like Judith mentioned, Luis is a resident of the Bronx. So that kind of put a lot of things, a lot of the elements that we were looking for were kind of there already. What we decided to do for this was to focus in terms of the repertoire on artists who have roots in the Bronx, I'm from Puerto Rico, as many of you know, so I was trying to take that side of it. So we're featuring music by the great Jerry Gonzalez, New Yorker with Puerto Rican roots, grew up in the Bronx, founded the amazing For Apache band along with his brother Andy Gonzalez. Also Arsenio Rodriguez, the amazing Cuban genius who lived in the Bronx for a long time and created music there. Also artists from the other side, the jazz side, Elmo Hope, the great bebop pianist, and Donald Byrd, trumpet player and composer. All these artists, I mean, in the case of Donald Byrd and Elmo Hope, they actually have their own streets named after them. So they have really deep roots in the Bronx. And for me, it's a lot of fun because I got to explore a little bit of the history, their time in the Bronx, where the streets are, what are the neighborhoods. I actually remember driving around with Luis some time ago, and he was telling me, oh, this is where so-and-so used to live, this is where so-and-so used to play, there used to be a club here. So it was really informative for me to see there was so much history, musical history in the Bronx, and so deeply rooted in the community. Myself also, I have to say in terms of a personal note, I have a lot of family in the Bronx. My father lived there, and I used to come visit him when I was a young guy. Actually, the first place I ever visited outside of Puerto Rico was the Bronx. I went to Grand Concourse 175th, where they still are today, to visit them. So I have a lot of roots in the borough too, in the community. So it's really special. The whole thing was really special for us.
It sounds like it was special to you. And I just, out of curiosity, how much of that research feeds your delivery in performance?
I think, one of the things that I've found as an artist, and everyone's different, of course, but for me, the research process is something that I really enjoy, and definitely feeds the music and feeds the delivery in a way, the preparation, the way the repertoire comes together, the way we think about how the set is going to flow, and also when you're dealing with this music and you're paying homage to such amazing artists, it's hard not to be in touch with that, not to be influenced by their legacy and their music. And even in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, so this is what they would have done here, like maybe try to do it something similar or something different. So it definitely influences what we're doing musically, for sure.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for breaking it down for any future musicians or anybody who is aspiring to get to that genius level. These are all the notes that I think should be taken. And then there's also the invocation of, spirit in the process, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
because that's its own thing. But thank you. And Judith, so before we go, do you want to share a little bit more about, of course, the concert, but what else Bronx Arts Ensemble has in store for the remainder of the month?
Well, for the remainder of the month, the major focus is on this concert, and really giving the appreciation to jazz that it deserves. As Miguel pointed out, a lot of jazz history actually originates from the Bronx, and we just wanted to make sure we celebrated the whole month of this idea of improvisation, creativity, and actually keeping our audiences engaged online. As we said before, we're so desperately wanting to get back in person with everybody to perform, in those intimate gatherings of the communities that we serve all over the Bronx. But right now, we're still online, and we're trying to give our best effort to keep holding up the Bronx and keeping the arts going.
Yes, and you're doing a great job of it. And we thank you once again, Miguel Zenón, for making the time to be with us on air. Judith Insell, Executive Director of Bronx Arts Ensemble. And you guys, once again, the Bronx Arts Ensemble Jazz Concert with Miguel Zenón and Luis Perdomo is happening this Sunday, April 18th at 1 p.m. And for more information, you can visit BronxArtsEnsemble.org. Okay, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll speak to a muralist from NYC. Don't go anywhere.